What is up, y'all? I hope you're doing well. I'm gonna put that to the side. We're here for our weekly energy oracle forecast. I know we're like a day off than usual. So on Sunday, I didn't post a video because I had a really busy day. I got up in the morning early, did my prayers, wrapped my sister's birthday presents, and then drove across town to celebrate her birthday for lunch at my mom's out by the lake. And then came back to town, moved a desk from my mom's house into my creative room upstairs with the help of my sister and her new girlfriend, and then sat with them for like 2 or 3 minutes, and then had to pack all my gear because I was reading tarot for my friend's birthday. She has some friends with a nice house over in the area, and they have a big space, and so they threw her like a classy casino night style large crazy birthday party for her 40th, and they hired me to read tarot, and they had all the guests bring like $41 scratch off, or they encouraged, like, the suggested bringing of gift is $41 scratch offs. Of course, like all the professional friends that she knows totally did that. And then all of the scraggly waggly dazzles from the restaurant just rolled in hot, like maybe 2 or 3, if anything. So they hired me to read tarot, and it was an amazing night. I had a really cool outfit on. I had this like flowing long lace dress, is like sort of a creamy tea stained Florence and the Machine look, very ethereal, with a sparkly golden sequins 2-piece set underneath, like a high-waisted thing and a tube thing. So it was like a perfect match when I got there with the motif of the party and everyone else's sort of theme. I had no idea, and I even changed my outfit right before I left. So that was crazy. And I set up, I had a cute little screened-in porch, a fireplace that I was reading in front of, and all of my little cards and crystals set out, and everybody loved it. And I was only supposed to read for 3 hours. I set up, I was like ready to go 30 minutes earlier than I'd planned. And I read from like 7:30 to midnight. Probably. I was so like by the end of it. We were literally like still going. There were still people that wanted one, and it was like the family like had started to move their living room back together. Like we had to leave. So it was a really great night. But my friend Alex texted me this morning to say thank you, and he said, "Wow, it's so awesome. You're like the high priestess shaman of the community." And I was like, oh, that was such a, like, you guys know me. And that was such a nice thing to hear. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. That's what I was doing. And that's why I didn't get to make a video. But so we're back. So now we will pick up with our usual episode that I record on Sunday night, which is our weekly energy oracle forecast. And then tomorrow we will have our anchor message instead of our manifestation message for the week. And then I think that'll get us back on track. All right, let's get into our reading. So this is our weekly energy oracle forecast, letting us know what our energy and spiritual weather is going to look like this week. So just a little bit of notes about the 3 weeks, the 3 challenging weeks, Ben Hamatzarim. We are in the finale of that. The last day is August 4th. So if I'm not mistaken, that's tomorrow. And the peak of the challenge, the most negative day of the year, actually straddled 2 days, as it always does in the Hebrew calendar. You don't get one clean day and it's in and out. It's always like sundown to like sundown. So this, like, think about what you felt like on Friday and Saturday this weekend, and if you saw anybody around you like having a meltdown or popping off or anything big, like the end of the series culminating episode events kind of thing, anything like that with y'all. I know in my general surroundings, I witnessed some interesting things. I had a low level sense of dread and foreboding, but nothing negative happened to me. Not really, nothing to speak of. Everything was actually really good. It was just this low level feeling of disembodied dread. And I also had a hard time getting motivated. I had like the pits of despair going on in the mornings. And in kind of a subtle, low-level way, just like no motivation. It didn't feel like it, and it was funny too because I've been watching The Never-Ending Story, and right off the bat, I forgot how early in the hero's journey Atreyu loses his horse, in the pit of sadness, in that swamp, the tar pits of sadness when the horse sinks in. But that's kind of what the mood was like for me. But otherwise, I think I got out relatively unscathed. So tomorrow will be our last day of the Bin HaMatzarim. Now, the blessing is that through these challenging 3 weeks, if you've been able to truly transform a negative behavioral pattern, or been able to forgive or mend something or heal something, even doing a little bit of effort toward that thing from a genuine place of desire, can reveal huge blessings and miracles. If you took a courageous action to make change, like the things that we did during these 3 weeks that were hard for us to do but pushed us out of our comfort zone for the higher good in the long run, those things are really going to pay off. Those are golden seeds that we've planted. So very, very good. Now, also, what Bin HaMatzarim is connected to is this energy that was also opened up during the time of the destruction of the temples. And so this is a holiday that commemorates the destruction of the first and second temple and the suffering of the Jewish people in the Holocaust and the exile and the Spanish Inquisition and those times of Jewish suffering. So when you think of the spiritual meaning underneath the destruction of the temple, it's like the breakdown of our current box, the current container that we have our faith within, our belief systems, our consciousness, right? Each individual, we are the temple, our soul, our consciousness is the temple. And so when we break that temple down to rebuild a new temple, it's like you're shedding your old layers, you're shedding your old limited understanding, you're shedding your old prejudices and filters and conditioning. And instead, you're rebuilding that temple in the image of the pure truth and the fullness of God, the Creator, not the graven image that we've projected, right? So this is good. So this is about letting go, shedding skins, shedding parts of ourselves, mourning the old versions of ourselves that are in the past that we've let go of, and they've birthed this new self. But now it's like we're kind of reintegrating it all, and it's being recycled into something new, which you can see here in the card that jumped out when I was shuffling. We have release. So we're letting go of these all of these layers, right? Fears, insecurities, preconceived notions, prejudices, bad habits, conditioning, limiting beliefs, self-sabotaging behaviors. We're letting it all go. And look at the mushroom. The mushroom is something that is generated from decay, breakdown. It's something that is dying and rotting and no longer useful, but it is recycled into something that is nourishing and useful. And all that was good that was left in that thing is then repurposed into something that's going to feed the cycle of giving light to something else, right? So we talk about rollover light, rollover effort, right? So when we put our effort into a vessel that doesn't work out, right? So say that's a relationship or an attempt at starting a business that doesn't quite take off or something of that nature. And we put so much of our heart and soul into something and it just doesn't pan out. we are so heartbroken over that. But the key is not to despair and not to give up hope, because maybe the vessel broke open, but all that magic sauce, all that miracle juice, all the effort and the desire and the passion and the intent and the hope and the faith that you put into that you invested into that vessel is still there. So basically it's been taken and relocated into a spiritual vault that holds all of your energy that you've put forth, the positive energy, the intention, the effort, the passion that you put into things. It is stored for you. And then when there is a new vessel, a new love, a new home, a new whatever it is that you were trying to build that didn't work out, a new chance at starting a new company, then this time, when the conditions are right for it to be fruitful, then when it's like the right vessel, when everything's aligned in authenticity, then all of that energy is then gifted into that effort, that new vessel. It gets the rollover effort. You don't lose it. It's just transferred into a new account. So you only get that reinvestment, though, of your energy, of your effort, if you don't give up faith, if you don't fall into despair, if you don't give up on yourself. You can't give up on yourself. You can't lose faith. Holding on to the faith is what secures your investment, secures your savings, okay? So let go of anything that you're trying to hold on to with white-knuckled grip that's trying to leave your life. Let go of your fears and indecision and self-doubt and, hesitancy. Just let go. Let yourself be free. Let go of grudges. Let go of needing to be right about something. Let go. Be free. Release. Release these things. Let go of the past, of dreams that aren't really aligned with you anymore, that don't really serve your highest good or your deepest fulfillment, that you're not really connected to, all the stuff that's not really true to the core root of you anymore, you just let go. And then all that energy is going to be redistributed into what is in alignment. And it's going to bring so much more fulfillment and fruitfulness. Okay. Love that. Good start. Ooh, okay. What are we just talking about? Truth, right? When we are, in order to have that throat chakra unblocked, it's not only about telling the truth, but it's about living in your truth as well. Being in alignment and having your life and your actions in alignment with what you say. Like, if we declare things out loud about ourselves that aren't true, our soul is going to be like, oh, well, I'm not a liar, so I'm going to shift your life around so that we are emanating the truth, so that we're reflecting the truth. So it's better for you to say good things about yourself than bad things about yourself, because the soul doesn't want you to lie. So the soul is going to shift circumstances to try to match what you're saying. And so if we are taking action that's not in alignment with what we're declaring that we want for ourselves, then we're going to have dissonance and chaos, and things aren't going to be moving in that. We're not going to be in that flow, right? So speaking the truth, knowing our truth, realizing our truth, and then being able to own that and express it. Not even you don't even have to be outwardly projecting it in some obnoxious way. You can just be living in your truth, really owning it, and it kind of radiates out of you, and you set that example, without being overbearing. You can learn compelling ways to speak your truth that end up really inspiring others and catching others' attention, and maybe changing the way that they previously thought about things as well. So when you are in true alignment with your message, and your actions are in alignment, and your desire is in alignment, and your consciousness is in alignment, then that's what really starts to compel people They can sense subconsciously when things are off, right? Like maybe you're doing the right things and your heart's in the right place, but your mind is all over the place. Your thoughts are really negative and you're like doing the right stuff, but somehow like it's like the universe knows your dissonance. You can't lie. It's like trying to lie to a temperature thermometer outside. You can't. It's like it knows the truth. So aligning with our truth, letting go of releasing what's not really authentic to us, things that just don't, butter our bread anymore. All right, let's see. What else do we need to know for the week ahead? Ooh, cycle. Yep. So the change of a cycle. So if we're in the releasing period now, that's so that new is about to be coming in. And so I feel like the brown here, the dead foliage that's falling away, that's where we're at right now. But like new life is coming shortly. And maybe it's even the kind of dead that's like, we're still in summer. So it's like the dead dry stuff is falling off the bush, but then there's immediate new growth coming through. It's like not fall death, but like hot midsummer death with new life, like right on our heels. I really feel it. I don't think we're too far away from big changes. Feel our feelings. Feeling our feelings. It's you can feel your feelings in a productive way, but you can also feel your feelings in a way that is drowning you and like getting you lost in the drama in your mind. And so it takes some intention and awareness when we are trying to digest and process and explore our feelings. It's a kind of a proactive participation with the feelings, rather than letting the feelings come over you and consume you. And then the thoughts start taking over and you start believing the thoughts and you start believing like the story behind those thoughts, right? Rather than owning your feelings and but not letting your feelings own you, right? So trying not to numb the feelings away or avoid them. People do so many things to avoid feeling. They will turn to, drinking to distract themselves, or drugs, or impulse shopping, or just constantly needing to be around people, like doing an activity, or, it's like there are people that don't want to be alone with themselves. They don't want to be alone with their thoughts. They don't want to give themselves a chance for grief and anger and all of that stuff to come up. Because they don't want to deal with it. It's heavy and it's uncomfortable. But if we can go through the discomfort and that work, it's kind of like clearing out a shed. And once it's over with, then you've done the work and it's not there's not as much discomfort. Whereas if you keep avoiding cleaning out that shed for years and years and years, you're in the discomfort of not having a functional use in the space. Everything's all cluttered. It's a pain in the ass. So when we don't feel those feelings, they get bottled up and they become clutter in our consciousness. And it starts to give us mental unwellness and emotional unwellness and eventually physical unwellness too. So feeling our feelings is going to help us release them and really cleanse our aura and our energy field and our emotional body. And I think we're going to feel such relief. And once we release the feelings that we need to be digested, then it's like there's going to be so much more clarity. There's going to be so much more like space in your mind to make conscious choices instead of just bouncing off of every thought you're running into. You're going to know the truth for yourself and what reigns true for you and what's in alignment and what feels like it's going to be part of this next cycle, right? New things coming in. check in. How do they feel? Does this feel right for your next chapter? Because we have choice and we have a little bit of control over our what we're co-creating with the creator. Some things we can't control. Some things we do have a choice. We have options, and we can certainly control the way that we show up. And so we can do what we can to be intentional and conscious moving forward, and being intentional even the way that we curate what we're taking in and what we're exposed to and what we're around. So, build yourself a life that feels fulfilling and nurturing and feels the way you want to feel on a daily basis, and think on what that is, like, realistically. Like, for instance, one of the things that there's this creator named Danielle Laporte that is a writer. She's good at like creating amazing journals and planners and oracle decks, and she's like an artist, writer, creator, spiritual think tank, spiritual thought leader. She had a really cool workshop that I remember buying years ago, and then she took it out of her store. It wasn't for sale anymore. I'm like, this is one of the greatest tools that's ever helped me, and I feel like she should have just kept it in there. But it was called Fire Starter Sessions, and it was like this 16-part workshop that you go through with yourself in a journal, and it asks you, a series of questions and journal prompts that gets you thinking about. It helps you decipher when you don't know what direction to take your life in or your career in. Mostly it's like about career purpose. It's like it helps you narrow those things down, that choice down, when you feel like there's different directions you could go in. And so one of her key things that she would always highlight was thinking about your core desired feelings. How do you want to feel every day at work, at this job? Because a lot of the jobs that we glamorize in our mind, we're just thinking of it like the movies that we've seen of that work environment that seem cute and fun. But what is the literal day in and day out? What's the shit sandwich that goes with that job? Everything's gonna have that shit sandwich. And as Elizabeth Gilbert says, which shit sandwich do you want to eat? That's really how you boil down and make some decisions, right? So part of it was, how do you want to feel every day? What are your core desired feelings? And that was also one of the prompts in her daily planner. Her daily planner was my favorite planner ever. It was like a journal / planner, and it had all of these little prompts for like the ways that you stay aligned every day in that devotion. So the top of the page, you'd write your core desired feelings for the day, which reminds me, I've stopped doing that recently, and I need to pick that up again, because it's the quickest way to manifest things. It's so crazy. So then there was a question that was like, when you, it prompted you to think about, okay, this job that I think I want to do in my mind, what is the literal practical mundane day in and day out of this job? What is it really? And how am I going to feel in that job? Is that going to deliver me the core desired feelings that I want to have every day? Or am I projecting a fantasy of this job, and I'd really just like to be in a show where the setting is that I work here, but I'm just doing scene work with the job in the background, So I realized just thinking about examples for me, thinking about, this versus this, it made me think about what all people must think about not think about when they think about career choices. I always wonder, people who go into the medical field, like doctors and nurses, they want to help people so much, but I'm I wonder if they don't mind the hospital, because I cannot imagine my core desired feelings are not going to the hospital and sitting in that environment and doing those things. That would not help my core desired feelings at all. But it's what some people love, right? Some people love being an attorney. But like for me, I'm like, do I want to go sit in the courtroom every day? Like, would you go to court every day? Because that's what you're going to do as an attorney. Like, oh, so it's just like, what are your core desired feelings? And when you think about the practicality of what it is that you're doing and what it is that you want to do and how you structure your day and what you're co-creating in your life, what are those core desired feelings? And how can you curate your environment and your place of work and your car and everything around you? You can actually put so much intention into that, which nurtures those things that your soul really needs and craves, right? So that's something to chew on for the week too. All right. I think I'll leave us with that. I think that's enough to think about for tonight. And so tomorrow, whenever you end up watching this, I record these videos at night, but you guys might see them late at night. You might see them in the morning the next day or whatever. But our next video will be our anchor message, and that will give us our spiritual lessons for the week and where we're going to be focusing in on the work. So we'll see you then. Peace.